down, Baki, down, down.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's Friday. I don't hear myself. Maybe that's why the speaker's down. But listen, yeah, it's the Great Black Detox. And I guess it's a special Fibroid Friday. It's the Fibroid Clinic. It's the Female Reproductive Health Clinic. Yours truly, Mr. Breaks, alongside the man himself, Dr. Amsu, and a host of others. Sending shout out to Moses, sending shout out to Dr. Keela. Who else we got on here? Latria, Kareen. Can you please unmute your cameras and your mics? I think we got some people who are conforming. Crystal's unmuted her camera. Sam's on. I haven't spoken to Sam. Well, I spoke to Sam the other day. That's not true. So listen, welcome guys. Hope you guys are having a great week. It's the end of the week. It's Friday. So it's a happy hour time. And this is the best part of happy hour, being on this call. Unless you're in the UK and it's 10 o'clock at night. But we sympathize with you guys. But the information is great and we hope it's worth it. So again, greetings to all. So Dr. Amsu, what's good with you, son? Before we get to that, if you're watching this, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Great Black Detox. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and click on notifications. Make sure also that you check out the social media, the Great Black Detox on Instagram, as well as Dr. 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 Amsu, yours truly, Mr. Breaks, at MRBREAKS. Make sure you subscribe and follow. If you follow the Great Black Detox, we will follow you back. Bit of housekeeping there. Dr. Amsu, what's good, mate?
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday.
Friday.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's get into it.
Shall we get into it?
So we can finish in on time.
On time.
Because we get complaints from our staff here that we always go over and whatnot.
So if you have questions, guys, try and get your questions in nice and early. We will be finishing at 7. So it's better to have your questions in early.
We're not finishing at 7. I'd say around 7:20.
Sorry, I'll be finishing at 7. Dr. Amson may be staying with the caretaker. You see, the gods have spoken.
That's because you did
no,
something to your mic. I saw that.
No, everyone's watching this. So this is recorded. You put that bad energy out there, dash down the thing. So listen, if you do have questions, you can raise your hand in the call. At the bottom of Zoom, there's a participation button. You can raise your hand, as Kareen has just done, and let us know you have a question. Otherwise, you can put it in the chat. And I'll be trying to monitor the chat as we go along. Let us know you have a question. We ask only that you unmute your camera and your mic when it's time to ask your question. You can keep your questions as brief or as long as possible. We will answer them as best we can and as brief as we can as well. So let's kick off. So Kareen, we can't see you. First rule in Fight Club, unmute your camera.
I'm here.
There you are, Kareen.
Hi.
How you doing?
How you doing, Kareen?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too
Fine.
bad at all. Kareen, I've got a question for you. How did you find out about this call?
Well, a while back, I found your site and I reached out to Dr. Amsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's when you were having some issues with the other group. I'll
Right.
just leave it at that. So then I received an email just out of the blue a few weeks back. I think it was last month.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed the call. So I was really upset that I missed last month's call. So I reached back out to Dr. Amsu. And here I am today.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you. you. So what can we do you for?
So I just have a question. I recently found out that I have fibroids. I was trying to go through the IVF because, trying didn't have any success there. I did a few cycles. I think it was 3 cycles I did. No success. I ended up with a miscarriage during one of the cycles. And now I realize that I have fibroids. Now, I do not want to do any type of surgery. I absolutely hate surgery. And now I'm looking for alternatives. So I would prefer to use enzymes, which I think is what you guys normally use. And I'm very comfortable with stuff like that. But just basically trying to find a solution so that I do not have to do surgery.
Right. And how old are you, Kareen? We get personal on this call.
Oh, that's fine. I'm going to be 44 next month. So
Okay. And
yeah.
During your lifetime, have you ever had any form of birth control, IUD or anything like that?
Only during the IVF cycles.
So during the IVF cycles, you were on birth control?
Yeah, because they were trying to control the cycle so that they could, grow the eggs and then harvest them. That's how they did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what birth control did they put you on?
To be honest with you, it was a few years back and I do not remember the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how long did they have you on the birth control for?
I think it was 2 months at a time while they tried to just control in order to harvest the eggs during the next cycle. So it wasn't a very long period. Like I wasn't on it for, like a year or something like that. It was just during the cycles that I was doing.
Okay. So right now, are you still trying with IVF right now?
No, actually, I stopped because one, it's expensive, and two, I wasn't successful, which is very frustrating on many levels there. So right now, I'm more interested in being healthy than trying. If I so happen to become pregnant, I'll be happy, of course. But I'm also older, and I just want to focus right now on getting the fibroids basically out.
Right.
Or at least
And
reduced.
how are your fallopian tubes?
So the reason why I started IVF is because one of my tubes was not clear.
Right.
There was a very small amount of the dye that was passing through during the hycosis. So that's the whole reason for starting. The other tube was just completely blocked. So,
Right.
but the thing is, I don't even know what they're blocked with.
Right.
Yeah.
And how has your diet been up until now?
Actually, it's pretty good. I don't really eat junk per se.
We'll
Like
be the
fast
judge of
food.
that, Corrine. We'll be the judge of that.
Well, I can tell you, I don't consume a lot of fast food. My only junk might be like the snacks, like potato chips or something like that. I do eat my fruit and veg.
Okay.
I stopped eating chicken last month.
So up until last month, you was eating chicken.
Yeah,
And what type
yeah.
of chicken? Was it fried chicken, grilled chicken, roasted chicken?
Mostly grilled. Yeah, mostly grilled. I don't really eat a lot of fry. Just don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And what about other meats?
I prefer fish. I've never really been a meat person. So it was either chicken or fish for me.
Okay. So you never had steak or
I don't
turkey?
like steak. No.
No turkey, no pork?
I don't like turkey either, and I'm not a big lover of pork.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
And
naturally so.
do you still eat fish now?
I do. I love fish. Several different types of fish, preferably flying fish or white fish I would consume.
White fish.
Hmm.
So there's a fish that's in the sea that's called white fish.
No, it's like tilapia or.
Right. So let's get to it. See what I'm saying?
Okay, okay.
White fish. White fish from Europe.
No, no.
All right.
Like the tilapia or salmon. Not salmon's not white,
not me
obviously,
whiting.
but yeah.
I know it's white. That's what I'm saying. I know what it is.
Yeah.
When people say I don't eat no junk, it's like, all right, we'll be the judge of that. And whiting is junk. It's not. It's like I think
Oh.
whiting is like different from different types of fish. Aside from the mercury, aside from the parasites. Now, what's your faith background?
I'm Christian.
Okay, so and I'm not being political here, right? This is just a question of, and it's for everybody to null over, to consider, right? So in the book of Genesis, I think, right? Or in Deuteronomy or Leviticus. I think it's Leviticus.
Tell us what you're going to say. We'll tell you which book it's in.
You don't know the Bible. You don't know the Bible better than me,
Back to
first of
front,
all.
back to
But
front,
anyways,
brethren.
fish without scales. What do we know about fish without scales?
Fish without scales?
Yeah, according to the Bible. What
Okay,
don't
you're
you
really
do?
testing me here because I don't know.
All right. So in the Bible, there's dietary laws, right? In fact, at the beginning of most holy books, scriptural books, in any faith, there's dietary laws. And in those dietary laws, it forbids fish without scales and also shellfish and specific types of animals, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when people say they eat fish, now do you eat seafood or is it just strictly fish? Do you eat lobster tail? Do you eat crab? Do you eat shrimp?
No, I do eat shrimp, but not the lobster and the crab.
All right. So you eat the cockroach, but not the
When you say it like that.
All right. So the reason why the reason why I'm going through this exercise is when people tell me that they eat pretty well,
At
it's
least I thought I
either
did.
you eat well or you don't. There's no in between, right?
Okay.
There's clean eating and then there's not clean eating. And even when you say I eat my fruits and vegetables, are your fruits and vegetables all organic and GMO free?
Well, I would like to think so, but I am not 100% sure because some stuff is imported and, I have no knowledge of whether or not it's, GMO free or, organic.
Right.
The local stuff I can vouch for because obviously we just grow stuff, but imported stuff, I don't know.
And all right, so our gripe, our beef, our argument against allopathic medicine is this, that in all the time you were doing IVF, they did not once talk to you about your diet. They did not once talk to you tell you to read the labels, to stop eating mercury in the fish or seafoods that you eat, right? They didn't talk about anything that would make you think, all right, why is one of my fallopian tubes not clear, right?
Right.
Why is there inflammation in my reproductive organs, right? And recently you found out you have fibroids. So
Right.
even in their process of IVF, them putting you on birth control put you at higher risk of blood clots, right? Of fibroids, which you now have fibroids, and black women are already 9.7 times more likely to develop fibroids than everybody else, right? So nutrition and diet are not discussed. And while you're thinking, I'm eating pretty good, it's all right, pretty good to whom? And for your condition, and women who typically are on IVF have fertility issues, why they're doing that. And it's like, all right, what's at the root cause? What's at the etiology of reproductive difficulty, right? And this is where the problem is. So with this program, it's all about what you're putting into your body, what's in your body, what's on your body, what's on your skin, and what's around you, what's in your environment, right? These are all the factors that surround your condition, the state that you are in. What are the conditions that you are creating in, on, and around you that give you difficulty, that is causing this inhibition, right? And causing these conditions and diseases, right? So these are the things that the educational part of what we do is about. All right, how have you messed up? What have you been doing so far? Where are you at right now? So you've given up chicken, but you love your fish. You love your shrimp, right? And these are factors, right? And a lot of black people do not class fish as meat for some crazy reason. Fish ain't an animal.
Yeah.
It's not meat. No, that ain't meat. That's fish right there. It's got a whole face, right? It's got a whole face with eyes. It's got a tail. It's got teeth, but it ain't meat.
That's right.
All bones, got a whole bunch of bones, but it ain't meat. And this is what's crazy, is that how we've been conditioned to categorize foods and what we're putting into our bodies, and we, it's erroneous. And in our era, we put our bodies at higher risk for disease. So the mercury is, can be worse than the parasites, depending on what your outcomes are, right? And these inflammatory conditions that you put your body in, right? And it's what causes these inflammatory conditions, right? So all meats, when we ingest any type of meat, our bodies respond with aromatase, right? Aromatase is an enzyme that converts, mutates androgens into estrogens, and typically into estradiol. And estradiol has its functions, but must be highly, highly, highly regulated, because it's a very dangerous substance. It's a carcinogen.
Oh, okay.
So when the ratio between estrogen, estradiol in particular, and other steroidal hormones is too high, the outcomes are thyroid issues, where metabolism now becomes a messy subject, right? Fibroid issues, reproductive issues with fertility. Your cycles get jacked up. Mitochondrial function in cells becomes an issue, where energy levels become a challenge, and chronic fatigue can also set in because of mitochondrial damage, right? These are all things that, because lack of reading labels or knowledge of, because saying read the labels, and it's like, all right, I read it, but I don't know what I just read, right?
Exactly. It's the knowledge that we're lacking. Okay.
Right. And so everybody knows in the Bible about know thyself. But before know thyself was uttered, there were dietary laws. And the reason for dietary laws is that, all right, we're going to make you holy. But what happened in the Bible, and I don't want to get religious. I want to start the religious argument. But in the New Testament, dietary laws were overturned by words of Paul, where he said, it's not what goes into your mouth. I'm paraphrasing now. Basically, it ain't what you eat, it's what comes out of your mouth, not what goes in it. Which gave the green light for people to start eating pork, eating cloven-hooved forms of meat, to start, eating fish without scales and shellfish. And we so began the poisoning of our bodies. And your holiness is healthiness. They have the same etymology, right? Health and holiness are the same thing, right? So a holy person is a healthy person. So you might have somebody who's fit, muscular, but they're not healthy internally. And the way how our bodies respond to what we put in is determined, or the way how our bodies react is determined by what goes in, right? So all the laws of the Bible, the dietary laws, were there to protect us from within. From within. right? And we're now paying the price because we've lost our principles. So in order to be a Christian, or in order to be a Muslim, or to become, to be any Buddhist or whatever, the process for that is within the scriptural laws. So nowadays it's, all right, what religion are you? I'm a Christian. Well, what's the dietary laws in Christianity? I don't know.
Yep.
And I talk to Muslims, all right, they know they shouldn't eat pork or drink alcohol, but there's all other stuff that they ain't supposed to do. Like, Muslims smoke cigarettes. Like, that's a toxin.
Yeah. And I think, Dr. Amsu, thanks for being on the pulpit, being that it's Shabbat, it's somewhere, right? It's Sabbath somewhere, it's Friday.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, brother. Yeah. And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I think it's a great way to not necessarily draw an analogy, but to draw a direct reference to information that is millennia old, thousands of years old, because whether it came from religion or from, dietary laws based upon experience,
right?
The fact of the matter is, a very, very long time ago, they discovered that certain foods were not conducive for us. Certain foods, when eaten, would cause many adverse effects, right? And over time, because of industrialization of food and because of migration and because of different ideologies, we've now come to a place where food has been weaponized, first of all, and you really have to understand that there are some economics and basically structures of food manufacture, food production, food distribution, and food availability that have been established to go to war with not just people in their own country, but in other countries as well. So food has been weaponized. But more importantly, bad food has been normalized, right? And whether it be through religion or culture or, through marketing, Coca-Cola and Kellogg's and any manner of foods were made popular by, Macy's and again, Coca-Cola and other companies, and they've become part of the zeitgeist, right? They're becoming, part of the common parlance where we assume these foods to be good for us and they're really not. These are the things that we're having to combat, and we're having to, as a culture, get over that past. And so it means that individuals like us have to get used to the idea that, listen, I've got to cut cheese out. I've got to cut out cheese. I've got to cut out meat. I've got to cut out fish. Why is fish bad? And I think, Dr. Amsi, I hear it loud and clear. A lot of people's justification for eating certain foods is because it's okay in whichever dietary law they were brought up on. But if you go back into those dietary laws, it actually does outline why those things shouldn't be eaten. Dr. Keeler, I see you have your hand up. I'm sure you're going to add some science and some flavor to this. Dr. Keeler John, guys, is one of our consultants and a burgeoning MD in the field of I guess, general medicine, and a great advocate. And she tends to bring a very wise and very experienced wisdom to this. So Dr. Keeler, share with us what you feel about the Bible. No, I'm joking. What are you going to say about eating fish and meat? Give us your sermon.
Just in brief, and thank you for that. One of the things that you'll find with Dr. Amsu's team is that they're constantly keeping up to date with past is future. So when he was explaining about the dietary laws, they're very relevant. But the other piece is, when you were going through your IVF, did anybody mention anything to you regarding decreasing inflammation in the body?
No, they didn't.
Okay. So,
but what I have done is, since going through that process, I've been doing some detoxes.
Okay. And have those detoxes involved eating nuts, fresh fruit, raw vegetables, or something different?
Not the nuts, but fruits and veg.
Are the veg mostly cooked, mostly raw, or a mix?
It was mostly cooked. Yeah.
Okay. So just allow me in brief to explain why that is problematic. Vitamin E, when people are deficient in vitamin E, it has been found that when mammals, that includes humans, are deficient in vitamin E, the likelihood of miscarriage increases because the background of inflammation has not been dampened down. Now, for our body is exquisite and very selective in using vitamin E, as in Edward, otherwise known as tocopherol, and the human body prefers is alpha tocopherol. Don't worry about that piece. Just know that alpha tocopherol is what the body uses to dampen down inflammation throughout the body. The liver particularly utilizes it and dispatches it to all parts, including the brain and your reproductive organs. And for your reproductive organs, what it does is it dampens down inflammation and increases the likelihood of not only fertilization but implantation. Now, to make vitamin E is recycled in the body until it is excreted, but oftentimes you don't really know vitamin E levels if you take a blood sample, but you will know them if you take a urine sample. They have to look for the byproducts of vitamin E breakdown. And if nobody has done that, if you can find a physician to do that for you who understands the value of that, please do. In the meantime, when you eat good sources of vitamin E, like the dark leafy green vegetables, walnuts, but there's so many almonds, but not everybody gets along with almonds for various reasons. Safflower seed, but if you have fibroids, that's a no-no. But you have many options, many fruit and vegetable options to get your vitamin E. You definitively have to consume your vitamin E food source with a fruit. The reason is without fruits, you can't regenerate vitamin E. It's the vitamin C that helps regenerate vitamin E. And so you need citrus fruits, but you also need folic acid for that entire cycle. What you essentially have is two machinery processes going in tandem that are interrelated at a certain point. And you need the combination of fresh fruits for the folic acid, the vitamin C, and the vitamin E to regenerate vitamin E. Without folic acid, you cannot regenerate another antioxidant known as glutathione. So priming your body to be able to be a very welcoming site for fertilization and implantation involves the regular consumption of a lot of raw fruits, a lot of raw vegetables. And I need to also say raw fruits because I've been noticing a trend in social media where people are cooking their fruits and it's like, but why?
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And so most fruits are designed to be eaten raw for a reason, and most vegetables, because that is not all now, but most. That is the state in which the specific nutrients are most available in the body for utilization to decrease inflammation. Whatever caused the blockage in your uterine tubes, your fallopian tubes, is more likely than not an inflammatory process. So correcting that with the necessary foods that have the necessary antioxidants, meaning vitamin E, vitamin C, glutathione-rich foods, and folic acid is going to help really dampen down that process for you. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dude, thank you, Dr. Keeler. And, again, it's a theme you're going to hear a lot of on these calls, and it comes up all the time. And it's, central to the whole paradigm we're trying to share here is, we are what we eat. Our food is our medicine, but food is our poison also. And, you're eating these products and these substances, and you can be, from an outwardly look, quite fit. You can be sporty and athletic and run and jump and all the rest of it. But you see, women have this additional feature that men don't have. And you're fighting fit in school, And then you get to that age, you settle down, you get married or whatever it is, however you want to do it, and you decide to have children. And then all these triggers are going off. Wait, I didn't know there was this thing wrong with me. And then the doctors start to list out all the things that are wrong with you that had been forming for the last 20 years. You were eating the bad food, but outwardly you were pretty fit. Your muscles were twitching and everything like that. But the parts of your body, your womb, your ovaries and your uterus that you need for reproduction were being hammered with these estrogen dominant and the endocrine disrupting chemicals, right? And so this is why it's so pervasive, and this is why it's so important that we talk about this stuff. It's not to point the fingers at you or to apportion blame, is that these things are happening almost in secret, right, Dr. Hamsley? These things are happening, you don't even know it. And until the time you need that particular muscle or you need that organ or you need your mental clarity and it's not working, then you find out that this thing you've been doing for 20 years has actually been harming that. And so, you hear a lot about the health disparities in just America alone and how black women are really targeted, right, unfortunately, and who are suffering disproportionately. And when the stats come out and the information comes out and we point these things out, it sounds as though black women are being blamed for their own condition. It's not that, because I'm sure if you're given the choice, you would never have been infertile, of course, right? So these things are happening very surreptitiously, okay? So part of the message we're spreading isn't just to you, Kareem, it's to you and your daughter and your sister and everyone else in your community, that it's not that it's just not okay for you, it's not okay for all of us, okay? So two things, Dr. Hampson, I think Dr. Keeper can start to talk about solutions and what Kareem can do in terms of supplementation and getting on the program to help not just with the fibroid, obviously, but infertility, because they all have a common cause and common root, Dr. Hampson?
So Kareem, you now have the detox, right? The fibroid.
No, I have to purchase that one.
Oh,
so
okay.
I know that one I have to get, but I wasn't sure what else I would need.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get my email?
Yes, I did.
All right. So you pointed out your sinuses. You had issues with sinuses, right?
Yes.
And again, the moment anybody says sinuses, right, Dr. Keeler, we straight away we know, all right, that's inflammation, right? The moment somebody says, oh, my sinuses, it's like, all right, you have respiratory issues, inflammatory issues, but your body is inflamed, and it's due to, when we say what's around you as well, we're talking about your household products, right? Your cosmetics, right? What you're putting on your skin, whether you're putting lotion and you go Body Shop and it smells so good, but when you look at the ingredients, right? I always pick out mango, right? Cocoa mango, because for some reason, we love the smell of cocoa mango, right? But we think it's coconut and mango. But when you look at the ingredients, they are all chemicals.
Yes, yeah.
They are all chemicals.
I learned that. Yeah, I learned that recently.
They're fragrance number 1864. And fragrance such and such, and they whack them all together, and it's like, oh, that smells like daisies. Doesn't smell like daisies. But it's not, a daisy was not used. No daisies were harmed
in the production
of this, right?
Fragrance.
And we put it on our skin, right? And Dr. Keeler, I know what you've got lined up for August, right? With eating your lotions and whatnot, right? If you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin.
Agreed.
Right? And then there's the household products. There's your furniture polishers, your carpet fresheners, your detergent that you wash your clothes in, your washing up liquid, things like toothpaste, all these things that are surrounding us, as a black, and it sounds like you're from the Caribbean somewhere.
I am Barbados.
Barbados, right? So that means that you must use Vaseline on your skin.
Used to, not anymore.
Right? I don't know how Vaseline did it. Fooled the whole world. But petrochemicals, right? We're surrounded by them. Then let's not even talk about the plastics, right?
Yes.
So all these things play an important role in the pathology, the pathogenesis of these diseases, these chronic inflammatory diseases. And we're being attacked by so many angles, and the way how we as black people metabolize these substances once they get into our bodies is more exaggerated, right, than everybody else. So when these substances enter our body, we bring the worst out of them, right? Which is why it's so important that as black people, we stay natural. We deal with nature, because when we go outside of nature, we get punished. We don't have to wait for hell, right? So when we die, it happens right here. We're in hell on earth, right? Because your body, right? Our genes, our genetic code passes judgment on us, and it's indiscriminate. You don't care if you got a birthday coming up or a holiday plan, a vacation planned for next month. We're gonna, just where you're about to put on the bikini, you got hemorrhoids or something, bulging hemorrhoids, and it's like, oh man, I can't go no more, right? So we have to be very, very particular, very meticulous in the way we choose what we put in, on, and around us at all times. And especially when you know you have an issue, it's important that you make those changes and you take things out of the diet. And there's and if you cheat, you're cheating it because your body don't care about no excuses. You can't talk your way, or as we say, chirp your way out from neurotransmitters or your endocrine system. There's no talking your way out of it. There are, chemical pathways and cascades that take place. Now, you said that you eat chips, potato chips. Mm-hmm. There is no potato chip that's produced that does not contain acrylamide, which is a carcinogen, right? Oh. The process of cooking those potato chips produces carcinogens. And those carcinogens, when they get into your body, it's going to create an inflammatory response immediately. And even if you don't develop cancer, you've developed an inflammatory condition, your body's processing it, and it affects cells, tissues, organs, and systems, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have no cancer, but it's like, all right, do you have any other growths though? So in black women, 90% of black women are gonna have fibroids. They're benign, but they are a pain. And it doesn't get any better until, I'm making that change. I'm going to be gung-ho about it. I'm going to be militant in what I'm doing.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, Kareem, you had a lot there, I think, because you were the first one, and you were the, I guess.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hampson knows you. You go on if you had another question.
No, actually, I was just going to say thank you very much for this information. I will get
Where do you live, Kareen? What state?
I'm in Barbados.
Oh, you're okay. All right. Oh, so you don't need D3 then. You don't need
no.
D3 because you got the sun.
Yes.
Assuming
you
she's
got the realness.
Is she in the sun though?
Oh, do you get out? Do you get into the sun?
Is like...
Yeah, definitely.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kareem, listen, thank you very much for joining. Hopefully you come back, and we'd love to walk with you through your journey in to health, and we want to be here for your miracle baby, which you're going to call Michael. Quick side question. Are things better that you guys are a republic now? Is it better?
I haven't really noticed it change. Like we're not, the Queen was our head of state, but at the same time we were independent. So we always kind of did our own thing regardless.
So did you smash the plates with the Queen's face on it? Did you smash them up?
No, I didn't have any, so I didn't need to. Yeah, I wasn't part of the generation who, would have had to sing the UK anthem or anything like that.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, we were always independent. So
Yeah,
it's
my
just
mum
a,
loved the Queen. I had the whole royal family of plates and cups and saucers, and I'm waiting for the day to smash
wow.
those up.
He secretly loves the Queen, you know. Don't let him fool you. He's got,
What? Who? Mom?
you know, you have your picture above your bed, you know.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Kareem.
Thank you, Corinne.
Don't go
You're
anywhere.
welcome.
Listen, before we move on to other questions, and guys, listen, if you have questions, please don't feel shy to raise your hands. Let us know you have a question. As someone's done in the chat here, we're gonna get to. If we don't have questions, we'll waffle on for a little bit, then we'll go home because it's Friday and we're gonna go drinking. But we do have a question here from, I think it's Crystal. I think she's at work, so she couldn't come on the call. And Dr. Amsa Dr. Keela, she's asking, where is it? Yeah, one, if anemia can cause your toenails to start turning brown. Can anemia cause your toenails to start turning brown? I'm assuming she's asking for a friend.
Yes, because anemia is a disease of the blood, and your blood is responsible for carrying electricity, oxygen, nutrients, and the integrity of your blood determines how well it's transporting the goods throughout your body, right? So fungus starts in the gut, right, and works its way around. But that fungus will not be able to travel around if your blood has the integrity of carrying nutrients to neutralize those fungi, right? But blood is created in the intestines as well. So when you're anemic, it also affects your digestive system. It affects your metabolism, the way how you process foods, right? So yes, and Dr. Keela, you can go in it further. I try to keep it as simple as possible, but you can add the you can add the heavy science.
Okay, so I'll try to keep it light and easy with regard to the science part. Just remember, when we speak in science, science is already in you, so
Right.
it's not hard. It's just that you may not be aware of it. So the only purpose in explaining is to bring your awareness to it. So when you're determining what you're going to eat or drink, you make certain associations, and then you can change. You have more options with your choices. That's all. Okay? So when you're anemic, you're basically in a state where your body cannot fight infection as effectively, because not even the immune cells are getting what they need to propagate properly, to multiply properly. So they are fighting at a disadvantage. The places on your body that are most remote, think of your body as the earth and your immune system as a military installation. Your fingers and toes and your scalp, as well as your reproductive system, are remote outposts. The most remote outposts are your toenails, fingernails, and your scalp. If you don't have enough of what you need for your core organs, meaning heart, lungs, liver, kidney, spleen, gut, to function, which are the things necessary to keep you alive, as well as your brain, your body will start to ration what it puts out for use. And it will preferentially concentrate nutrients in places like the brain, for use. Good example, I was just talking about vitamin E. When the body is vitamin E deficient, the brain often is not, because the glial cells, which are, if you think about basketball, you have your really good 2-point and 3-point shooters, and then you have your players who assist. They help with the setup to do the layup. Your glial cells are the assist. Your glial cells will act as storage sites for a lot of nutrients, because your brain cells are constantly active. Your neurons are constantly active. Toenails are not high on the priority for survival. They are an immune defense structure. They pretty much act as a barrier surface for invasion from soil microbes that will otherwise invade the skin and infect the skin, and go on to degrade the skin and infect your bloodstream by eating through the skin. Your toenails function as a barrier. I'll give you an example. When you get a toenail fungus, what usually happens? Your nails go yellow and they thicken. That is pretty much the waste product of the uh, dermatophytes eating your nail. Be glad you have the nails there, because otherwise they will eat your skin, eat through the cuticle, and get into your bloodstream. When you bolster your immune system and get rid of a lot of the unnecessary fermenters um, that build up a lot of toxins, including as well as candida, your immune system is stronger, and certain immune cells, as well as the uh, weapons, the chemical weapons immune cells make, can actually be dispatched to the point of infection and help clear up that infection. In addition, you still will likely need something topical. Once it's cleared, long term, the main thing is to maintain good gut health. If you're prone to toenail fungus, you have to make sure your body stays well mineralized, and all waters are not equal. You need water that is mineral rich with iron, magnesium, zinc. Zinc is a big one. Um, and several, selenium, and many other minerals that help bolster your immune system. In addition, you have to eat foods that are going to build up the healthy gut bacteria, and there are very few select gut fungi that are helpful to us, but it's mostly gut bacteria. Um, you have to build those up, because what goes on in your gut affects everywhere in your body. And if your gut is ill-equipped to absorb nutrients properly, particularly iron and other, you'll hear me say occasionally, divalent cations. That's just a fancy way of saying minerals that have a +2 charge. Those are often absorbed in the first part of the small intestine coming off of the stomach. It's called the duodenum. If your duodenum is not healthy, say you have ulcers, say you have another ulcerative illness like ZES, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. You're going to have multiple ulcers in parts of your intestine a little further on, called the jejunum, that will impair mineral absorption. You have to correct that first, as well as any other ulcerative issues, as well as any gut inflammation, before you can absorb those minerals. Minerals are key for all metabolic processes, including immune function. So yes, definitely being anemic, unable to absorb iron, or not being able to hold on to iron absorption in the gut, can impact your immune system, which can predispose you to all infections, including toenail infections. I hope that helps.
That sounds like it absolutely helped. Absolutely helped. Just waiting for our host to get back in his seat so we can get some. I know Kia had a question, but it seems like she's having issues in and out of the call. She had her hand raised.
I'm not sure is Kia still on, actually. I think someone keeps jumping in and out. Well, if you're on the call, I can't see. We'll wait for her to come back on. So I actually want to go around because Tavan or Tavan.
Okay.
What were you about to say? Go on.
No, I was just gonna, before you moved on, most people don't realize the prioritization of nutrients and minerals. and vitamins in their body when it comes to the distribution, right? That your vital organs are just that. They're vital, they're critical, they're absolutely necessary, and your body prioritizes them before those peripheral organs, right? Or peripheral cells and tissue. So things like baldness, bad skin, bad nails, right? Even things like eyesight. When it comes to priority, your body calculates, what can I live without? When you have a deficiency and you have chronic nutrient deficiency, your body's already worked out, well, I can get rid of that. So I used to often tell people who are pre-diabetic that, all right, you have a chromium issue. You have a deficiency in chromium, and your body will at some point prioritize your pancreas to your eyes. People with diabetes, a lot of them go blind as they get older because after time of low chromium, it's like, don't need the eyes, can live without the eyes, can live without hearing, can live without TV and music, but can't live without the pancreas. So your heart, your brain, those vital organs, they are number one priority. So when you have deficiencies, everything else, your beauty is gonna go. Can live without beauty, just wear a hoodie. Wear a hoodie and cover up and you'll be all right. So, that's what I wanted to touch on, that when you have when you suffer from malnutrition, you might wind up ugly.
Well, see, my take from that, Dr. Amsu, not to combat that, but is a warning sign that if you are experiencing issues with extremities and things like, toenails changing color, toenails falling out, teeth going dark, issues with the ears, the hair, eyes, funny feeling on your nose, strange rash and bumps and all that, your body's telling you that you've got some deficiency, right? You either got too many toxins or you haven't got enough of something, right? And so I guess the trick is being able to decipher those things. I'm no expert, and what does this rash mean? You go to your doctor and they're going to give you a topical statin cream to rub on the rash, not realizing that rash is emblematic of, enzyme deficiency or something like that, right? And I think that's the real art or skill that we've lost as a community, a global community. And we use the term back in the day, right? But back in the day, doctors or healers would look at your feet and your hands and in your eyes and your hair and your breath and your tongue and say, right, based on what we see, your body is lacking in this, or there's something in your body that shouldn't be there, right? You need to go and detox, you need to go and this, that, and the other. And I think that's what we've lost. And allopathic medicine is exacerbating the issue because it's piling on chemical solutions for the symptoms of things and not, again, as we say over and over again, Dr. Amson, looking at the root cause. So I think the skill I would love to have, I don't know, above understanding, the herbs that, fix, is being able to discern when your body does things, what it's telling you, right? I remember, reflexology, and in parts of Asia, they do foot massages, right? And people see it as just a nice rub of the feet. But when you go in there, they've got this chart and it breaks down which part of the feet, which area of the foot is linked to the intestine, the large intestine, small intestine, the brain, the breathing and all that. And they'll press a part of your foot and you feel a twitch in your chest because they've understood and Dr. Amson, I'm sure you can break this down, understanding Ayurvedic and TCM, how the nervous system, collaborates, right? And so, again, I think what I'm trying to say is, these little things these little twinges, these little tweaks, my nails aren't as strong as they used to be, or, it's discoloring. It's your body telling you something that could, arguably be quite serious, right? And so we really need to...
right, there's iridology.
Be mindful of these
studying indigenous medicine, right? There's things like iridology with your eyes. There's roshology, which is with the face. So I learned how to look in somebody's eyes and tell, all right, you got an issue with your spleen. You've got issue with your liver. You got kidney issues, right? In their faces. Now, you have a lot of people, walking around, and here's the thing with a lot of women: they wear a lot of eye makeup, right? To hide the dark rings around their eyes, for instance. And dark rings around your eyes is like, all right, you got serious liver issues, right? And by covering, the concealer, whatever it is, could you buy that kind of stuff, right?
I get given it to you. I haven't bought it for a long time, but
But
I know what you're talking about.
The concealers, the image of beauty in a face shows how healthy you are, what's going on inside, right? So when there's dark rings, there's an issue that needs to be fixed. When we're children, we'll eat basically anything that tastes sweet enough or spicy enough or whatever, like anything that is exciting to the tongue, right? And they're excitotoxins, they're toxins, they're neurotoxins, all these things. But then we get to an age of puberty. And at the age of puberty, that's when your body starts to tell you, all right, you messing up. You effing up right now, right? The acne. They call it hormonal acne right now, right? Yeah, of course it's hormones. Your hormones are letting you know when they misbehave, they're letting you know you're messing up. So when you start, and because females are the birthing people, you know that term now, right? We're 2022, birthing people.
Get woke.
Right? Females are responsible for carrying babies. So when you're messing up and you enter puberty, you're going to have terrible periods. You're going to have hormonal acne, right? You're going to be heavy bleeding, all these things that girls go through that us guys, we have no idea, right? It's because the body's ready. It's supposed to be preparing for gestation, right? And your body, the signs of your poisoning, you've got toxins in you. It's more apparent in women than in men. We don't think about doctors until we're in our late 30s, 40s, where it's like, man, I stroked out.
You know where I end up going, because the job that we work at, the company we work for,
they tell us
mandates that for the health benefit, you need to go and get an annual checkup, or they're going to charge you more. So to save a bit of money, we go, right? Because we've been asked to. We feel great. The beard goes down well. I still fit in my jeans. And then you get there, and then the doctor, sticks his finger up your anus and says, "Oh, mate, there's some things going on with you. Your LDL's high. Your cholesterol's high." And then men start thinking, "Oh crap, there's something wrong with me." And guess what they do? They put them on medications for high blood pressure, maybe for diabetes, for breathing, and so many other things. And they take it as second nature and normalize it. And these are the things that we're running into. And it's just like, I can't say it's cognitive dissonance because I don't know. Until it's happening to you, it doesn't exist. It's happening to somebody else. Oh, that's not me. I feel great. I feel fine. No. You feel fine within the parameters of your life. In other words, if you live a routine life, you get up, you go to work, go home, that's your routine. You could feel great doing that. But the minute you have to run for a bus or up the stairs, or maybe go and play some sports, and you start wheezing, you tell it, well, that's not really, I don't normally do that. Yeah, man, I ain't did this since I was a kid. So you normalize it, thinking, well, I wasn't supposed to be running anyway. No, I'm supposed to right now sprint around this building, come back, maybe be out of breath for about 30 seconds, and then reset, calm down, and be fine. But if I run down to the end of this, 100 yards, and I'm completely wasted, I'm not fit. So what it is, because we live routine, sedentary lives, many people think that they're okay because they're operating in a very small envelope, a very small window of physical prowess, should I say, they don't do much basically. So of course you feel fine because you're not doing anything. But the minute you have to exert some energy. Go ahead, Dr. Am. So you're gonna.
Yeah. So and this is the thing, right? For our generation, the hip hop generation, there was no knowledge of nutrition, really, right? Outside of the dietary laws that I was talking about, and which we didn't pay attention to in Sunday schools, like some idiot to Ireland and that. Anyway, I'm gonna eat, as kids, we're gonna eat what we were gonna eat. Our parents had to keep us in check, but they didn't know nutrition, right? But here's the thing, again, all the pains and all the reproductive issues that black women have gone through, here I come now to say, all right, here's what's going on. Here's why you have fibroids. Here's why you have endo. Here's all these things. All the women who are on this call, who have daughters, it's your responsibility and your accountability now to teach your daughters this information so that they don't end up in your situation. They're not supposed to be following the pattern that you followed, which was dietary ignorance, nutritional ignorance. Now that you all know, because us nutritionists, us physicians, us all holistic healers, we've done our research in order to put together instructional information so that you all know we're not like your normal physicians, your GPs and that, your gynies and them who just give you prescriptions or put you under the knife and you don't know why. And there's no changes to be made. Here, take these and carry on doing everything that you've been doing, right? You suffer with infertility. You have these reproductive issues. We're giving you the reasons why they're there. So if you are suffering, you have to make sure you pass the information and even instill the law in your household that these foods are forbidden. You have to take it back to dietary law, right? So the reason why now we live in a time where 13 and 14-year-olds are not, the age for marriage and whatnot is being raised is because everybody has become more infantile. The moment a girl has a cycle is when nature says you can have a baby now, by nature. But there's a lack of information and maturity because the world has been dumbed down. And even women who are in their 20s now are less intelligent, right? Or less knowledgeable. I won't say intelligent. Less knowledgeable than girls who were 13 and 14 100 years ago. Even when it comes to the tests, they did the
aptitude test.
Aptitude, and even the test, grade 3 tests back like from the 50s. You got 20-year-olds who failed the test now. What was given to 12-year-olds? Yeah. Because the level of information has been dumbed down to the point where there's no accountability anymore. Everything's become infantile. So you got grown men living with their parents, right? Who gamers, and they're in their mid-20s, gamers living free.
Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Amps. Can we bring Dr. Keeler? I think just jumping on that point as well about the body and signals, Dr. Keeler.
I was going to add that the way in which we think about exercise is kind of upside down. Exercising regularly, if you think about it from a vanity point of view, is not very motivating. People really want to look good and feel good, but as you get older, feeling good trumps looking good.
Right.
And so, because if every day you wake up in pain, it starts to affect your ability to maintain yourself and your family, and starts to affect your self-esteem. Whereas when you're younger, in your teens and 20s, working out is about attracting the opposite sex for the most part, right? The thing is, if people approach working out as changing how their body utilizes resources to ensure efficient and effective use of resources, and to make the entire body, which is a corporation, a system, stronger, it would be easier to age, because your body would be able to manage the impact of uneventful and occasional trauma.
Yeah.
Case in point, um, I know of a man who was my father's friend, who was a police officer. Both my father and this man very much worked out, lift weights and such. And by virtue of knowing the value of lifting weights, he has sons. He encouraged his sons to work out. My father has daughter. He encouraged me to work out. One of the things now, the man with the sons never had to say to the sons, oh, you weights are not going to make you too muscular. That's never a concern for a man with his sons. My father had to make it clear to me that I wasn't going to look like a boy if I lift weights. In fact, it would make me look more feminine.
Right.
I explain to you why that is so. Women have, when I say women, I'm going to say something a little politically incorrect, but it is medically and scientifically accurate. To be a woman, you have to have two X chromosomes. That is medically indisputable. Whether or not your womb works is a whole different issue, but genetically, as a woman, you need both of those X chromosomes. And the reason we have two of them is because if one codes for enzymes or molecules that are defective, proteins that are defective, we have a backup on the other X chromosome. That is important not only for how our body utilizes energy, it is also important for our chances of bringing forth life into this world, and increasing the chances of having a viable embryo, viable fetus, and eventually a viable baby that is born. The way our bodies that we have estrogen receptors everywhere, and including on our muscles. When we hit puberty, there are certain muscles in our bodies that relax as a function of being genetic women, and there are certain muscles that are more likely to um, hypertrophy if we exercise them. So you want the thick thighs? Do the quad and hamstring workout. You want the beautiful calves? You do the toe raises. Okay? You want the slimmer waist? You do a lot more core exercises that involve your whole body, like lifting and bringing to your chest your lower limbs. And you want that hourglass figure, you actually not only have to mind your carb intake more than anything else, you have to build up your shoulders, your lats, which are near your flank that gradually go down and cover your kidneys. And you want the fuller hips, you have to do the exercises that are going to build all three levels of your glutes.
Get to the glutes.
Gaining,
Get to the glutes.
right. So we have three levels of gluteal muscles. We have minimus, medius, and maximus. Everybody's concerned with the maximus. And let me just be plain. Having a nicely shaped derrière is not about fat. It's about muscle.
Yep.
It's about having toned muscle. You also have to have toned piriformis muscles. Case in point, I'm going to relate this to reproduction and enjoyable sex. And I'm not being inappropriate when I say this. As you build your glutes, you are also building muscles in the pubococcygeal region, your pelvic area. Piriformis, pubococcygeus, it's a whole set of muscles down there that interact with your digestive system, and for a woman, her reproductive system, as well as for a man, his reproductive system. Exercising builds muscles in the reproductive region. What does that mean for a woman? You will have more enjoyable orgasms and be able to have better muscle control. That's the purpose of Kegel exercises. It also gives you better urethra control so that as you age, you don't have leaks. What contributes to leaky urinary tract in a lot of Black women? Fibroids. How do you decrease the conversion of testosterones and other androgens that you naturally produce in your ovaries and in your adrenal glands, particularly the reticularis layer? You exercise, because you actually use the body fat. Body fat is an endocrine and a metabolic tissue. You decrease the quantity of fat in your fat cells, and you preferentially shunt energy use from storage into active use for burning when you exercise. Not only are you going to have a better figure, you're going to have less estrogen to feed those endometrial implants, so they will shrink, those fibroids, so they will shrink, and the adenomyosis. Okay, so it all interplays with each other. These things are not separate, they are together, and it is possible to be in your 50s, in your 70s, and have a knockout shape. It just takes time, but you can do it.
Yeah, excellent. And I don't know if anybody's watched what's the name, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, right? It's on Prime Video. Just put a, you know what I mean, they're paying me for
plug
this.
out there,
They're
yeah.
paying me for this. But in the 50s, especially with white women, hundreds of them would go and work out together. It was part of their lifestyle, right? To work out. It was part of a lifestyle. It was like, if you didn't go and work out, you're not a woman. Their whole beauty regimen was, the workout was a major part. And men are more attracted to curvy women, and the curves are muscles. Not lumpy women, but curvy women. And I think, through media marketing, right? Women who are overweight or obese, it's crept in that that's meat on the bones, or that's what's curviness, and it's not. Curviness comes from muscle. It doesn't come from fat, right? And fertility is improved with muscle tone. Fertility. There was a. I got somebody sent me a clip, and I think I forwarded. I didn't post it. And in fact, I'm going to post it on IG, where you have these white geneticists talking about what black women have that white women don't, that white people are trying to get from black women. The shape of black women, right? A slender black woman is the perfect body, and they admit it openly. Nobody on the planet is as fertile as a slender black woman. A black woman that's in shape. Nobody. The fertility and fecundity is at its peak.
Indeed. And speaking of slender, gorgeous black women, we have a host of them on the call today. I want to get to know some of them. So listen, as we don't have many hands raised, I know you guys have questions, that's why you're here. I'm going to go through. I just want to find out now.
Someone's got their hand raised, but they got their physical hand raised. There you go.
Right, and I had Latrita. How do you say your name? Latrita, how do you say your name?
Latrita.
Latrita.
Okay, Latrita.
Yes.
Even better than how I had it on my paper.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Sorry,
Welcome.
I'm in Jamaica on vacation, so sorry.
Don't
That's cool.
apologize.
No, that's not to apologize for. Welcome to Mecca.
So
No,
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 understands.
no.
No, you're on your own with
You're
that
at the pinnacle. You're at the center of the earth right now.
I love it here. So I am 52,
Woo.
years old. I started menopause. I guess I'm post-menopause. It's the last time I had my period was September of last year.
Okay.
Starting menopause, I didn't realize there's so much that you go through. I just thought, I don't know, you don't have a period anymore and that's it. No, there's a whole slew of stuff. Joint issues, this issue, fatigue, everything because of the lack of estrogen. Okay. So I'm on the estradiol patch. Okay. I've been on it now since last year. At first I was doing the pellets. First set worked out. The second set didn't. So I'm on the patch. I'm on the, on testosterone. I do the gel and I take the progesterone. I take it. There's a pill that you can take orally or vaginally. I take it vaginally because I'm like, that's what it's for. Okay. For years, my daughters are 30, twin girls, 30. The youngest is 26, soon to be 27. So them growing up, I didn't have soda in the house. So there's certain things that I did. I push a lot of veggies. If we can I go to the grocery store, if it says, organic, I'll get the organic one, right? I lived in Chicago all my life. 3 years ago, my husband and I relocated to Miami. So I've probably been eating more meat than I've eaten in my entire life, being in Miami. Steak and I didn't really eat that much, but now I probably eat it more often. Like I don't have to have meat. I can go without meat. I can do more veggies, more fruits. My thing is it realistic for me though? Like, I know me, can I not eat certain things, right? I do weights an hour a day. I do cardio an hour a day, probably 6 days a week. I've had like knee surgery. So if I have my knees are acting up, then I miss a day or two. But for the most part, I'm at the gym or I'm in my garage sweating profusely, right? Working out. I do take, spirulina, cholera, the charcoal, like the black charcoal, because I feel like that helps pull out any impurities, right? Pull out anything that shouldn't be there, I guess. I am taking the mass from the detox. I started the mass. I'm on my second bottle. I brought the other one with me. I have a little left of the first bottle that I'll finish when I get home. So maybe a month and a half, I guess I've been on it. I've had the fibroids since I was probably in my late 30s. I was bleeding and then I went to the doctor. I'm like, why am I bleeding? He's like, oh, I'll give you some pills to make you bleed more. I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense. I've always been a person to want the natural route. So I went to this Larrabee's kind of natural drugstore. I got black cohosh. I got chaseberry. I got what else? Don Quai. I mixed them all together, drank a cup, the bleeding stopped. I'm like, hey, good for me. Never came back. So the fibroids are there, but they never bother me. Okay, fast forward. Now I'm on estrogen, right? Because I'm in menopause. It seems like they're growing a bit. I went to the doctor a month ago. He's like, yeah, it's about the size of a melon. He's like, we have to do surgery to take it out. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing surgery. I'm going to get mass. I'm going to go because I've known about you guys for about a year or two. I'm like, I'm going to go and get some detox. I'm going to get some herbs. He's like, the herbs don't work. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like no surgery because they don't bother me. Like I've never been in pain. Here and there I may feel a little discomfort, but I haven't had any major thing. Like my sister has fibroids. She had to actually have them go in through her navel. She's 6 years younger than me, but she smokes and it was really weighing her bladder. Okay, she was going to the bathroom all the time. Mine's really never really bothered me. So I'm like, but I don't want them to keep growing either, right? So if I need to take something in addition to the mass, I'm okay with that too. I know you guys have like balance and something else, I think. So like, what are the differences of the different herbs and what should I take? And I can do some things with eating, but to be honest, look, I'm in Miami. We're taking shots with my neighbors. You know, I'll curb. I'm not a big carb person, but I'll curb some things. But to be honest, I know me. I'd rather work out. I burn 800 to 1,000 calories 6 days a week. I'd rather do that so I can eat and drink whatever I want. Within reason, obviously, within reason.
All right. So you purchased from the detoxnow.com.
Yes.
All right. Now, so I'm gonna have to do something that I don't like to do, but I have to set records straight.
Okay.
So the whole fibroids program that the Detox Now has emulated poorly was what I put together. And this book here, do you have any instructions of what you're doing?
No, I need to get that.
Right. So here's where you separate the wheat from the chaff, right?
Okay.
So the whole program that they have where you have mass is something that was derived from eliminate. Eliminate is the supplement that deals with tumors and growth. But eliminate deals with tumors and growth, but it does not deal with the hormonal imbalance. There's a supplement called Essence that we have, right? Essence is the key component, right, of the fibroid elimination protocol. Now, for years, so let me just do a little bit of history so you understand.
Sure.
I'm an endocrinologist. The reason why I became an endocrinologist was because my mom had a hysterectomy when I was a teenager, like a 13. And it got me, asking questions and whatnot. And then I decided at some point, I'm going to study the endocrine system and hormones, right? How they all work. I put together the fibroid elimination program. The fibroid elimination process is outlined in this book. When Coach Jesse and Dr. Ammon separated from us, through Dr. Ammon working with me, he had access to certain formulas. And he changed the names and put them out there. They could not sell the book that I wrote. So they have these supplements with no instruction, no education. So estrogen is the root cause
and the
of
supplements
fibroids.
Are the same, though, Dr. Hampson. They
Well,
changed them as well. On top of that,
they
so that
claim
it's not,
they claim they're not. They claim they're not the same. Who knows, right? But there's key elements that are missing: the education, the diet. There's lifestyle changes. So you went on to hormone replacement therapy, not knowing the dangers of hormone replacement therapy, because that information has been omitted from a process. So when you see mass and you think, all right, I've got tumors, I have to get rid of the tumors. That's no different. Well, even though it's from natural sources, it's no different than getting a prescription from a doctor. Don't worry about why you're taking this, just take it and hopefully it will work, right? But there's lifestyle changes you have to make. There are reasons why the essence is the key component, because even though you are you no longer have eggs, right? So there's no more reason to bleed, right?
No more, right?
But your hormonal balance is still critical. Your ovaries are still supposed to be producing the right amount of estradiol, the right amount of progesterone, the right amount of testosterone, so that you don't go through the hip pains, the joint pains, the hot flashes, right? The hot flashes, the night sweats, all those things, right? Before there was estrogen patches, how did women cope? Before there was progesterone gel or progestin, and progestin puts you at risk for blood clots, right?
Right.
So all these manner of things, when they separated from us, they did not deal with the fundamentals, which is hormonal balance. So they now they changed the name of our stability, probably, right? Stability and essence to balance, but without the knowledge of, all right, how should I eat? What do I give up? What shouldn't I put into my body, right? And if you can tell by my countenance, you can see that I'm a slightly peeved, slightly pissed off, right? Because it's half-ass.
Yeah,
it's half-ass.
Yeah.
And whether they do calls, right? So the whole program is what I put together and taught Coach Jessie what she knows, right? Taught Dr. Ammon what he knows, but they broke away and did their own thing, but left out the key thing, which is the information, the education, right? Okay. The reason why you see Dr. Keela with us and why she's so important is the education. So when it comes to breaking things down as to why are these things happening? What are the pathways that are taking place? Why do I feel sick? Why am I nauseous and whatever? Experts like Dr. Keela can give you to the molecular level what's going on.
And Latrina made a very good point as well, Dr. Hampton. Thank you for that breakdown. And there's so much more. Anyone that joins us quite often knows
my shirt off. It's a good job you came in there.
You should, I keep saying we need a bit more of that on the show, and I get the baby oil out. Latrina, you made actually a very good point. And of course, listen to what Dr. Hampton is saying. How you do what you do, how often you do what you do, the frequency, the quantity, the energy in what you do. Not just taking the supplements. We have the supplements here. Yeah, we can tell you, put this under the tongue morning.
GreatBlackDetox.com, by the way.
GreatBlackDetox.com, of course. You made a good point about, so you had this product called Mass, and then you had this other product called, I think you said, wasn't blood, was it Balance.
Balance.
You basically just went and bought them, and you're kind of hoping for the best, right? And well, I mean, let's be real, And Dr. Namsai, we had a long conversation years ago. We talked about this. Is that integrity? And I had a call from a friend recently as well about integrity, and out of the blue, sent me a text saying, "Whatever you guys do, maintain your integrity." Right? Just today on this call, I think it was Kareem. Dr. Anderson said, "Oh, you're in Barbados. You don't need D3." Someone else would have sold her the D3 just to get the money. Our integrity is that, look, if you don't need a supplement, why are we going to give you that supplement? If you do need a supplement, that's what we're going to talk about and tell you why you need that supplement and why you don't need this other supplement. If we say, like, here's the website, just go and fish around and buy whatever, that is absolutely useless. The reason we have these calls, and I talk about, I think every week we talk about this, is that we are in a position and we create a situation that you, the public, you, our customers, patients, clients, friends, whatever you want to call yourselves, right, have an opportunity to redress us. Hey, doc, I've been taking the supplements for a few weeks now. I'm not seeing any change. Or, doc, I've been taking, and I noticed this, but I didn't notice that. What's going on? And we have that consultation. And this is free. We charge $300 already. In fact, we're in the $600 mark now since we started the call. But we offer this because we stand by what we do. We stand by what we say. We stand by our products. More importantly, we stand by you. So we're not trying to make money by selling you some elixir or some snake juice.
Snake oil.
Snake oil, right? And so,
Right.
Latrina, listen, where you spend your money, what you do is completely up to you. You know, I'm not going to say to you, don't go to Detox now and buy their products. But if you're asking me sitting on this side of the fence, we know what works. I mean, I even heard you say you've been taking this product for some time and your fibroids are growing and you reckon it's because of, you know, the diet and so on and so forth. Well, hold on. We have Dr. Brandy Brown. Is she on the call? Dr. Brandy Brown's not on this call. Dr. Brandy Brown is a practicing doctor in this neighborhood that has a clinic that sees patients and came here one day and we were having a bit of a back and forth, a banter. And she says, you know, you guys are trying to make everyone plant-based. Not everyone's going to go for it. Well, let me tell you something. People, your products work even for people that eat meat.
Yeah.
Your products work. So my clients that come and see me, I know I can't wean them off. And you see, this is a beautiful thing. And it's very fortuitous that we had this call today and you've come on, Latrina, in Jamaica. And you talk about, man, you know what, I'm 52, I'm hitting menopause, my kids are grown. Look, I want to wean myself off certain things, but, you know, I kind of like the meat still. You are a real person, okay? And we invite real people to come to our calls. All of that to say, our products, our programs, these calls, everything we put in place is to deal with real people. And we're very open about that. So I'm going to say, if Dr. Amster doesn't want to say, no, you want to take our supplements, first of all.
Okay.
Secondly,
Okay.
there are things you need to cut out. And there may be some things you need to add. You need to become a
Okay.
new you. Shall I tell you why? At 52, as a black woman living in the world, I know you're going to be in Jamaica for a couple of weeks and then come back to the USA. Whether you like it or not, you live in a food desert. Where do you live in the US?
Miami.
Okay, you live in Miami. So Miami, you get some seasoning and some flavoring, but for the most part, most of the produce you get is delivered by American companies like Cisco and
Yes.
what's the other one? The food, all these, you know, semi trucks that creep around at night delivering all this
Right.
non-conducive food, right? It's
Right.
flavored well, but you're not getting the nutrients your body needs, which is why your
Right.
body's fighting back. So you're feeding it meat. You probably, I know there may be some dairy. Even if you don't eat dairy directly, remember cheese is a seasoning in America. So they're
Yeah,
probably
I love
seasoning your
dairy.
food with some dairy-based seasoning and some processed seasonings, some enhanced seasonings, some MSG. And MSG has many different names. It's not just in Chinese food.
True.
There's MSG in Caribbean seasoning.
Natural flavors.
Natural flavors. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these things are happening. So Latrina, I'm going to jump. I'm going to let Dr. Keeler come in and share
Before
some.
Dr. Keeler comes in.
Go ahead.
So, 2 supplements I've mentioned so far, but there's another 2, which is
Okay.
Liver RX and Blood RX,
Put these into this.
right?
Okay.
Why Liver RX? Because your liver is the fundamental when it comes to distribution, synthesis of hormones. Your liver,
Okay. I didn't know
right?
that.
So Liver RX is just as important as Essence is, right?
Okay.
Blood, your whole, so when it comes to distribution of hormones, it travels in the blood. So the blood has to be purified. So
Okay.
your Liver RX provides a detoxification for your liver so that your liver can perform its function
I'm
properly.
gonna write this down. Keep going.
Right? So the integrity of your liver is determined by how well it can perform its job unencumbered. So most detoxes that are out there, you'll hear liver involved in that. You'll have the colon, liver, kidney, spleen, right? But liver is the brain of the operation, right?
Right.
And to not give instructions, somebody goes and buys mass. You should have had a follow-up email from somebody to say, okay, why did you buy mass? Oh, because I got fibroids. Okay, you need these other supplements to help mass work. Because without them, it's not going to work. You will have temporary, the body shock. Just like when you work out. You start doing an exercise and you see some result. But then you start doing it more and then the results start to wane because you didn't, there's something else you're supposed to do. Right?
Right.
It's a whole process. Like there's a deficiency in specific nutrients that your body has, right?
Okay.
That needs to be corrected. That what's been put together, what has been formulated is specifically to eliminate fibroids without surgery. But there's the other benefits, which is hormonal balance, which, Coach Jessie had a hysterectomy before we even met her. But our supplement, Essence, has kept her going. Liver and blood kept her going. Venus kept her going. So there's all kind, like you were saying, when with menopause comes atrophy. Vaginal atrophy is part of that. So sex now becomes painful. Right? Things start to get a bit dry. But with hormonal balance, you will maintain. With a healthy circulatory system, you will maintain. Okay. Right? But if you just take why we hate allopathic medicine is, what's your symptom? All right, take this. So we got rid of that symptom, but there's us now, we went in so hard for that symptom that there's side effects. But don't worry, that symptom's now okay. Yeah, but now I've got, I got kidney failure. Well, take this for the kidney failure. We knew you was going to say that, but we prepared this earlier. No, it's holistic. It's holistic. So even the exercises within this book, there are exercises. There's Qigong.
Okay.
There are Qigong exercises for reproductive organs, right?
Okay.
That you should be doing religiously, because your body has an ailment, it has a condition, right, that you have to fight. But, I'm going to get off the soap.
So I'm going to let Dr. Keeler come in here, and I'm going to put together something. So what you actually need is the fibroid elimination, or the Great Black Fibroid Detox, which really comes with all the supplements that we're talking about and the instructions and everything. I want to put a link in there, but I want to let Dr. Keeler come in. I know she wants to add something to this. So please don't go anywhere, Latrita.
I'm here.
Pleasant afternoon. I know that it's wonderful in Jamrock. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth. You got that one right. That being said, that is actually a nice place to live if you want to have access to a lot of the things your body needs to adapt to this new phase in life. But to speak to the prior phase, your reproductive years, we read a lot of medical journal articles, right? And you have to even read those as comparatively as you read news articles. That being said, what's not taught in a lot of the nursing and the medical schools is that you can actually delay menopause and andropause. It can be delayed. And a lot of it has to do with nutrient utilization. So what happens is, particularly with women, our bodies are very keen on what nutrients are available in our bodies, and particularly in excess. So when we consume a lot of animal products, animal meats, animal fats, or when we consume a lot of processed sugars, it tells the feedback in the hormones from our body fat talking to our reproductive organs, particularly our ovaries in women and testes in men. The feedback to our brains is in the form of a hormone called leptin that tells the brain we have enough energy stores. And once you hit a certain threshold, the secretion of certain hormones from the brain that govern secretions from the ovaries, namely luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. The way those start to be secreted gets very different. When you're in your reproductive years, it's like a drum beat. It's pulsatile, right? When you start to enter menopause, it starts to change from that, right?
Right.
Chemically, Lupron does the same thing, which is what they often give women when they have endometriosis, um, to hormonally starve the endometrial implants or explants and get rid of that. But what we eat governs our hormones. So by lessening significantly, or even better, completely eliminating animal fats and animal proteins, and I know it's a challenge because I like seafood, okay? I get it. Some people are land grazer eaters. They like their meat, their lamb, like their beef, lamb, venison, goat. They like what they like, right? And two
Right.
things is hard to change people off of: what they like to eat and what they like sexually. Those two things are very hard because they're hardwired. They're
Right.
hardwired from in your younger years,
Mm-hmm.
and the brain changes pathways. And the more you do a thing, the more those pathways get reinforced. So to change those pathways, you actually have to change the behavior and how you think about the benefits and the drawbacks of the behavior. That being said, a lot of times when we're feeling down in the dumps, or lonely, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll initially crave sweets. When we're stressed, we'll crave salts, and we correlate crunchy with salt. That being, and when we're particularly feeling low on energy, we'll crave meat.
Right. Right.
That being said, you can actually alter your experiences in menopause by what you eat, in addition to
Okay.
taking those supplements that they mentioned to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Miami is very much a chef's haven and a foodie haven,
Got it.
but I know. But you may have to elect to be a little bit more selective about what you're going to eat, because if you maintain the same habits that got you into menopause, and for some black women, being in menopause in even in their early to mid 50s is early.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Okay.
know women that they have they are still fertile well into their 50s, going into their 60s, but when you look at what they're eating, it's very
Okay.
different from the general population, and how they
Okay.
manage stress is very different too.
Mm.
So that being said, kindly consider, because I know you like the richness of what you eat, but if it's
Mm-hmm.
working against other aspects of your life, you may want to reconsider
True.
it. Not
and and
telling you
Okay.
what to do,
and
but just providing you some options, okay?
and
Mm-hmm.
and and,
Okay.
and
Thank
this is the
you.
thing. Inside this book is what you
Getting
have
that
to
book.
stop eating, what you need to incorporate into your diet. And then there are meal plans on how to
Okay.
prepare your meals, right?
I can do that.
Right? So
Right.
when you get the Great Black Fibroid Detox, it's full of instructions. There's 3 meal plans. There's a transition, elimination, and regeneration meal plan, right?
Okay.
As well as the information about what to cut out your diet, how to replace it, how you're gonna be preparing your food, right? So you
Okay.
stop frying foods, you stop
Yeah, I don't
sauteing
fry.
and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's all about instruction. I know you're in the land of curry goat and jerk chicken, and you're probably thinking, well, whatever you guys tell me is gonna have to wait till this holiday done, because I'm gonna murder some curry goat,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
The jerk, I can smell the jerk from here.
From here, through
You know what I mean?
through the camera.
So when I became vegan, or when I gave up animal, right? When I stopped being a carnivore, to this day, right? It was like 2003, 2004 when I went full plant based. But I still have dreams about jerk chicken. I still have dreams about jerk chicken, right? And
Right.
I'm a carnivore in my dreams. I will murder it, right? But on the outside, now it comes the discipline. And you seem like you are disciplined, like you like to work out, like you are self-motivated, that you're good with routine, but you have to change the routine. And there are 3 phases of female life. There's pre-puberty, right? There's
Right.
childbearing age, and then there's menopause. And so there's 3 shifts. And the
Right.
security guards, which is your endocrine system and your hormones, for 3rd shift, right? They were not trained. They weren't prepared.
No.
And women who go through, that's why they have all the problems, because 3rd shift security are them old men that have no use. That's like, give me that blood clot. When the teeth show up, they just beat up a youth and take that. Because the 3rd shift security guard was manky. But now you have to train them. While you're in, now you're in menopause, you can still, while you're breathing, you can still make the adjustment and get them right.
Okay. I
Okay?
could do that.
Latrita,
Okay.
I sent you a message in your DM, not that DM, in here in the chat, with the links. I think some of them to the Great Black Fibro Detox. Please check that out. If you have
Thank
any
you.
questions, you can drop us an email to support@greatblackdetox.com. We'll put that in the chat as well. Support@greatblackdetox.com. Reach out to us at any time with any questions. You can email questions to us. I hate, we do this every week, not to be cliche, but this is why we do this. And we love these conversations. We love this interaction. And if we can help one person, we've helped a lot of people, but it's never ending. And clearly, not because of you, but generally what we hear, we still have a lot of work to do. But, evangelizing one person at a time does make a difference. And
Thank you.
Again, we don't talk a lot about our non-profit, but we do actually do a lot outside of these calls, believe it or not. It's like we sit around just waiting for these calls every week so we can have it out with people. But no. Anyway, not to belabor that, but we really appreciate it. Please don't go anywhere. We're going to share some more information. We're in about 10 minutes away from ending the call.
Okay.
I do want to reach out to one other person. So Sam was on. You had your hand raised. I don't know if your hand went down because sometimes when you drop off the call. Is that Sam? Are you there? I think Sam may have stepped away. Sam, you're on mute. Your camera's muted.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you.
Hey, Sam.
We're gutted about that. We're gutted.
Hi, how are you? So I called you guys, or I spoke to you guys probably about a month ago, and I said that I had gone for a checkup, and they had said I didn't have a fibroid, but I had a polyp.
Yep.
Since then, I had another checkup, and they said I do have a fibroid now,
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a fibroid.
but also have the polyp.
Right.
So when they checked it, they tried to, well, she wanted to remove it. She took a sample and I was like, no, because, you guys say don't let them do anything. So I wasn't sure. So my question is, should I allow them to remove it and work on the fibroid? That's the first question.
All right. So by them removing it, basically surgery. Correct?
Well, they use I'm awake. They have this instrument that they use with the camera and they,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
it.
It's an
That's the
invasive
one.
surgery.
It's an invasive surgery.
yeah.
Now ask them about the chances of the risk of scar tissue. Right? Just ask them that. Well,
Okay.
can I get scar tissue? And black people have this bad habit of scarring up. When you cut us, we will scar up. Keloid.
Yeah, and also since she tried to pull at it, I've had heavy periods since.
Right.
Like really heavy, like clots. Yeah.
We don't know how hard she pulled on it, right? And they say, "Oh, I tried to pull on it." they're using a machine, and the machine is has a robotic attribute to it, right? So there's a possibility that they can exert more force with the machine than they would have done with their hand. And here's the beautiful thing about hands: we have what we call feedback. So you know, you touch a fruit and you can tell if it's, like you squeeze an avocado, you can tell if it's ripe or not. That's because you have feedback. And once you know that, you don't squeeze too hard. If I now use a claw or some extended lever which has a fulcrum, I can exert more force with that lever than I would have done with my hand, because I'm not getting any feedback from that thing. So if they exerted enough force, so she tried to pull on the polyp, right? And now you have all of these side effects, right? How hard did she pull on this polyp? What effects did that cause? What is that polyp attached to? Do you see what I mean? Because, you know, sorry, and I've got some back inside information here, because Sam, you know, you and I spoke the other day that you've had these conditions since that operation, and they didn't remove anything. But since then, you've had these complications, which is why, Dr. Amsa, you're always talking about we have to be very careful and mindful before we're going for, if it's a scan of some sort, then by all means, sometimes you need to go in, they can count the fibroids and so on and so forth. But the minute they start pulling on things, now you're having these side effects. So it's really sorry that that's happened. It's unfortunate to hear that. But Dr. Amsa, let's see if we can
and remember,
remedy
right?
this. Right.
Medical accident is the number one killer. The number one. It's not car accidents. It's not shootings. It's not gun or knife crimes, right? It's medical accident because of malpractice or incompetence. Oops. Right? And so the reason why we don't like invasive procedures is because there's risk attached to that. And then there's post operation or post-surgery, post-surgical risk factors as well, right? That you have to consider. So the reason why we have our program and our protocol is it may take some time, right? And that time is dependent upon your epigenetics, right? That depends on that, but it's the safest methodology because there's no side effects, adverse effects, and there's no scar tissue. When your body dissolves those growths, there's no scar tissue.
Okay.
Right? But again, it's up to you. If you know by pulling on it, it caused this excessive bleeding and that, and I don't know if there was any pain associated with that, if there's any pain, but you're creating a risk.
Yeah, a little bit, because you know when you're a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too bad. I don't know if it's because I've managed to deal with the pains. So since I was taking the supplements, I've never taken any tablets.
Right.
So I used to take like Nurofen when I came on.
Painkillers and ibuprofen.
Yeah,
and things
so
like that.
I'd stopped.
That's amazing. And they set you right back. Now they've set you back to some degree or created some new complication, and it's
so
tragic.
if there's if there is like scar tissue, how do I fix that?
It's very hard when you're black and you're dealing with scar tissue. It's very hard, but you know, we have our supplements, and we have things like deep vein, which deals with fibrin and scar tissue. So you know, we have the ability, we have nutrients in our supplements that will help with those things, but we don't like if somebody says, well, I'm going to have this surgery and I know I'm going to get scars. Do you have something for scars? We don't want to work that way. You know, if somebody done had it and, you know, what was it yesterday? Somebody was talking about they had myomectomy and they, because of the surgery and scarring, it fused their colon with their uterus,
Wow.
right? And you don't want that to start happening. You know, there are women who have to get sections of their intestines removed
Several
because
times.
of scarring.
Yeah.
Because scarring will fuse organs together. And that's where real pain starts.
So, you know, Sam, sorry, finish, Sam. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Because then the other thing was, like I said last time, I kind of messed up with my eating, and I've seen the effects. So it was when I was on the supplements, everything changed. I was sleeping well, like I felt really good. But now I've put on 10 pounds and I don't feel great at all. Like I'm not sleeping. My mind's is just very clouded at times. So should I do the 14 days to detox my body and add the extra supplements for the fibroids, or should I just continue doing the fibroids?
Do the 14-day and add the fibroids, or you can get the fibroid supplements and add Claringa. Have you done the 14 before?
No.
Okay, so get the
6 days.
so you have this book, right?
Yeah.
All right. So get the 14 and add eliminate. Right? And when you get the 14, you will get the instructions for the 14 as well. But very, very important, right? Is that you need to continue with the supplementation. You have to continue the lifestyle, right? And yesterday's call, we were talking about self-sabotage, that we have this, this mechanism in us where when things are good for us, we self-sabotage. Either we stop what we're doing, we're on a successful path, just continue what we're doing. And it's like, nah, you know what? Let me get the bacon with that. Let me add some bacon bits. Let me get a bit of alcohol.
It's going to start to feel invincible, isn't it?
Right, because we think, all right, I'm over the hump. All right, I'll just have a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's so true.
And before you know it, your body's like, all right, you've created the same conditions that gave you brain fog, that gave you insomnia. You've disrupted your serotonin, melatonin cycle. And thanks for that, but here's what we're gonna do. When you create these conditions, these are the outcomes.
Indeed. Well, listen, folks, I'm going to put another link in this in the chat here as well. So I didn't get around to ask everyone, we've got to jump off now, but I'm, making some assumptions that everyone on this call is dealing with or has someone they know with fibroids or another female reproductive health issue. I'm assuming there's a certain percentage of people on this call who are already on our program, or the rest are considering our program. And, I love Dr. Amsu and Dr. Keela and the other advocates in our team and the coaches. Love to get into the science, right? But we love to make the comparisons. And, Dr. Keela gives great analogies, sort of linking that to what you do to, other aspects of life, and really sort of drumming this home. And I think I like to always drum about the part that, if you want something different, if you want something you've never had, you need to do something you've never done. And change is real. And we have to make the change. And the biggest problem human beings have is we're crazy. We think we can keep doing the same thing and get a different result. Or if we do it from a different angle or tilt our head back. No, it doesn't matter how you eat dairy. Dairy is dairy. If I grill the meat, is it okay? Well, grilling takes away some aspects of it, but you've just enhanced the other aspects of it. Stopping it completely is really the way to go. And our supplements, I know you see the Great Black Detox kit here. I know I'm just holding up bottles right now. But listen, go to our website, go to the YouTube channel, The Great Black Detox on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and click on notifications. And you'll see hundreds, at least over 100 videos where Dr. Amsu and the rest of the team and, you know, some of our advocates are breaking down not only the efficacy of our products and the knowledge behind the programs, how the programs run, what's in the program, how to use the products, when to use the products. But you also hear from real life people like yourselves who've been doing our programs and how they found success and when they met challenges, just like Sam has been talking about, and how they overcame those challenges, and why so many women, especially in today's fibroids call, I'm talking to women almost exclusively. I don't know if there's any guys on here except Dr. Hanson and myself, how they found success. And change is key to this. Taking our supplements is a change, but the dietary changes are extremely important. And you have to ask yourself, how do I want to live the rest of my life? Stop thinking with your 17-year-old brain. That's okay in the gym. We wish you could go back there. We want to get back there physically, but there are certain aspects of your life that they just are what they are. If you're like Latrita and you get to 52, your kids are 30 years old now, you're enjoying Jamaica, you want to enjoy your life, absolutely. But there are certain things as you hit menopause and probably even before menopause, but let's not wind the clock back and regret. This is where we are, that we need to eradicate. Look, once in a while you had a piece of jerk chicken on holiday and they're playing the steel pan. No one's going to know. Mark it up. What do we say? We're going to save you that out the next day. You know, we live with a intermittent fast. We only intermittent fast. I haven't had breakfast. I don't know when. I think I may have gone to a hotel one time. They had one of them dodgy bagels. I didn't even eat it. And I realized, wait, I paid for the continental breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. I should have paid for continental lunch. Right. I don't eat breakfast, and I try my darndest, unless I'm on the road doing something, that I don't eat after sundown. Occasionally, I might eat some fruit or some leftovers at 9, 10 o'clock because I know I'm going to be up for a couple hours. But I don't eat and then lay down straight away because I guarantee you I will feel that night or the next morning. These are all habits. These are all parts of our program. These are all parts of our paradigm. So those of you on the call, I'm going to give you another information tidbit as well. So for those of you on the call, I'm not saying this because it's salesy or I feel I need to because it's my part of the call, but our products work. Our paradigm works, which is why, again, we stand behind what we do, which is why we're here on these calls. And if you guys feel it doesn't, please feel free to let us know something's not working, because we will go down and find why it's not working. Now, for those of you on the call who haven't tried our supplements, who are thinking about it, whether you want to do the whole detox or try an individual supplement, we have a sale on right now. We've extended the Juneteenth sale through June the 30th. It's 30% off pretty much every product on our site, the kits, the individual supplements, the book, anything on our site, anything you put in your cart, you're going to get a 30% off through June the 30th. So go ahead now, try the products now. Trust me, by the end of summer, you'll be thanking us, the Miracle Babies. Remember, Michael, preferable name for all Miracle Babies, Michelle if it's a girl. Use the supplements now, get on the program, change your lifestyle, change your diet, add these supplements to your life, and you will see the uplift, right? And Sam, I know you didn't mention, I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit. Sam mentioned something to me the other day, and I thought it was rather profound. In fact, you did actually mention on the call today that when you were on the program, you were taking the supplements, you felt great. Then you kind of slipped up, you went back to the meat and certain things, and you noticed the change. Your body was telling you, whoa, Nelly. When you weren't eating the meat and taking the supplements, you were doing great. The minute you put that stuff back in, your body reminded me, we're not doing that. And that's a beautiful thing. But here's the thing. Your body was telling you that your whole life when you were eating meat prior to the program, but you didn't know because there was so much cloggage, there was so much toxins. You don't even notice the signals until it gets acute, and you know that your nails are turning brown and you feel sick and there's a growth, there's a tumor or something like that. So if you don't, not you, Sam, if anyone out here doesn't believe what we're saying about the food and the toxins and why we need a supplementation, do the program, then go back to eating meat and let us know how you feel afterwards. We guarantee you will know. So listen, guys, the greatblackdetox.com. You need to book a consultation. If there's people on the call, maybe a little bit shy, that's fine. Go and book a consultation. It's greatblackdetox.com/consultations. If you want to know what products are right for you, greatblackdetox/my condition. And there's a tool there. You can just put in what your ailments are, what your conditions are, and it will recommend supplements for you. So look, we've got the YouTube channel, you've got the Instagram, you guys know all of that. And so you know how to reach us. Email us, support@greatblackdetox.com. Anytime you have a question, support@greatblackdetox.com. On the website, we have a customer service little icon in the bottom right. Click on that, ask any question you want, and our customer service team will either answer you directly or relay that question to us. Dr. Amsu, final words, brother.
Sam, did you just raise your hand again?
Yeah, just a quick question. So if I order tonight, obviously it's not going to come until next week. So can I start the, obviously I don't have the supplements, but can I still start the fast?
Well, we want you to be getting the nutrients that your body needs while you're fasting.
Oh, okay.
But you can intermittently fast.
Yeah, I've gone back to doing that. So.
Yeah. And just cutting out like the meats and the dairies and stuff like that, and it'd be a lot easier for you as well on the detox. But here's the beautiful thing about the detox is when you're doing it, you get so much more energy and so much more clarity. You know, remember we talked about this. There is no real prep for the detox, not really. Some people like gorge themselves the night before, mistake, but it is what it is. Once you get into the detox, your body resets itself, and that's the whole point of it, and that's the beautiful thing of it. You know, you go on 20, 30 years eating meat and dairy and cereal and all the rest of it. In 2 weeks, your life changes. So that potential had always been there. You just hadn't had the information and the products to do that.
And the reason why we want you to do the 14 is because it is the epitome of discipline, like as far as even your, chemical discipline, the cravings. So when you do the 14, you overcome cravings. All right? So that's what's key. Women produce more ghrelin than men, right? So they crave. Their hunger is worse than a man's hunger. All right? So when you get over that hump of the craving, that's where you'll be, you just now entered into discipline mode where you can achieve anything.
Indeed. Well, listen, folks, thank you very much for joining. Hopefully we've educated you on some stuff. We've learned a lot from you guys. We're very jealous of whoever's in Jamaica. Not so much people in Boston, but we'll get around to that. Again, thanks for joining. Listen, happy healing, safe detoxing. Spread the word.
Latrice, don't trust them Jamaican man them, Don't trust them. Don't try to carry nobody back with you,
I know, I got my husband.
Once she's married, good. She just changed her dress twice and she's been on the call, so she knows. Depending on what she wears, you get different kind of wolf calls. You know what I mean? So,
I'm going for dinner.
Right. We know all about it. Well, listen, guys. Look, sending love as we do every week. Listen, be helpful, be safe, guys. Spread the word, bring other people on. We'll be here in 2 weeks' time on the Fibroid call. But next Thursday, if we have your email, if we don't put your email in the chat right now, we'll make sure you get the invite for the next call. Until then, peace out, people.
Peace.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna take a picture of the chat. Maybe take a picture. Screenshot. Okay.